Hi everyone. Sitting in my classroom alone, what are the chances that nobody is going to interrupt me? So, as I'm guessing I said in class, which hasn't happened yet, but let's just guess. Today we are doing a benchmark. But then also, if you're at home and you can't do the benchmark today, then today you are doing this lesson. And there are going to be two lessons that we're doing. So over the course of 3 days, you will do 2 lessons and the quiz, depending on where you are in kind of the cycle. So like tomorrow, the people that were here today, who already took the quiz, will be doing this lesson. Today is 9/23. Okay, so also the assignment at the end of this will be due on, let's see, this will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so it'll be due on Monday. Your next assignment's due Monday. And it'll be this lesson plus another lesson combined into one assignment, so not too bad. Okay, so today we're talking about how to design a statistical study. Okay. There are 6 steps to designing a statistical study. The first thing you have to do is you have to, let me zoom in so you can actually see what I'm doing. You have to identify what you want to study. And what your population is. All right, step 2, you have to develop a detailed plan to get your data. So essentially, you need to know exactly how you're going to get your data and what you're going to do to get it. And we will be actually doing statistical studies later this semester, where you're going to be asking people for certain information. You're going to figure out how to ask it, and etc. Then you collect the data, so you actually follow through on your plan. Step 4 is you analyze the data. So in this case, like maybe you find the mean, median, and the mode. Maybe you make some graphs to show everybody what the data is saying. So this part here, this is fact right here. This is exactly what happened in your study. If you say, hey, I did a political study on who wants to vote for Trump and who wants to vote for Biden in this election, and you find out that 54% of the population wants to vote for Trump. You can't change that. That is a fact. That is exactly what happened on your data set. Now, the question is it true for everybody? So now you have to interpret the data. Does your sample match the population? Maybe you asked people about Trump only outside of a Republican rally. Well, then I bet you they're probably going to vote for Trump if they're there. So you have to make sure that your sample matches your population. So this is where you make a guess about the population. An informed one, but it is a guess. And then finally, the last step is always identify possible errors. It is pretty easy to find an error in almost every single study, so make sure that you keep that in mind. We're going to do a couple definitions today. They're going to be called 4 of them. So we've got a confounding variable, we've got a placebo effect. And something called blinding. And something called double blinding. And I've got a couple stories to tell you with these. Okay, so a confounding variable is when you have multiple factors that affect an experiment. And you really don't know what happened. So this is bad. For example, let's say that you are trying to sell umbrellas. So what you do is you make like a display at the front of the store and it's super cute. And you're trying to see if this display is going to sell umbrellas, right? You're really excited about it. Let's see if it works. And you're trying to collect data. How many umbrellas am I going to sell today? And then it starts to rain. And you sell a lot of umbrellas that day. So the question is, was it because of the rain? Or was it because of the display at front? Or was it both? See, confounding, that word sounds like confusing, and that's what happens. It's when you have two things at least happening in an experiment, you're not really sure, you got a result, and you're not really sure what caused it. A placebo effect is when, so a placebo itself is like a fake drug that they give people during an experiment, so that people don't know if they're actually getting the real drug or not. Because the placebo effect is something that is psychological. And it's basically you think you are getting better, despite not having actual medicine. So, like, if they were doing an experiment, they would give some people the real drugs, and they would give some people sugar pills, which are fake drugs, and then they would see. And if, like, let's suppose it was something, I mean, this is not something that you would want to do with something serious like heart attacks or something. Anxiety is serious, but it's a little bit harder to diagnose than like a heart blockage. So with anxiety, what if they give you like a pill for anxiety? And just the process sometimes of taking a pill and feeling like you're trying something makes you believe that you are feeling better. And that can even happen for things that aren't like issues with the mind. Literally like physical pain can be people think that they're better just because they're taking something, and it's actually nothing that they're taking. It's just that their brain has decided that if I take a pill, I'm going to feel better, and then they do. So this is really all mental. It is you basically, and this is subconscious too. Do I know how to spell subconscious? Let's try that. That doesn't look right. Well, we'll see. Nope, I can't stand it. I'm going to look it up. So yeah, it is basically subconscious. People do not, yeah, I missed an S. People do not realize what's going on when it's happening. That's right there. And they believe that that they're getting better when they're not. So if you have a pill and you're doing an experiment and everybody in the whole study gets better, well, then your pill probably doesn't work because everybody feels better, even the people who didn't have the real drug. But if you have a study where only people feel better who had the real drug, then you know that that's a serious drug. Okay, blinding.